Hello, everybody. It's Holly from Besotted Books. Thank you so much for joining me on my fairly new channel. I am inside Kingwood Garden Center, and it is absolutely beautiful here today, so I did want to share it with you. So, I really don't have a book to talk about because I did just film I Who Have Never Known Men. So I'm just going to chat to you a little bit as we go along and see some of this absolute beauty that we have here amongst us today, us via me through the camera. It is absolutely beautiful here. So anyhow, where do I buy my books? Let's talk about that. My books mainly come from used bookstores, book sales, sometimes the Goodwill. I oftentimes think, I don't know, I've gotten some good books there, but I really like to go to like big book warehouses. That's always a great place. Like if you have a friends at the library, that is another great place to buy books. I do not have any problem purchasing a used book if it is in good condition. There's absolutely no room in my world for me to be a book snob. Now, if I have a book that I want to purchase and I know I want to have in my collection for a very, very long time, yes, then that's the time you want to go on over to Barnes & Noble and you want to order that book. Because that's something you're going to keep for a very, very long time. But I also find sometimes there's just something about a classic book, say your Lord of the Rings and things like that. There's something about getting an old copy that you know has been loved and cherished and then passed on to you via whatever means you purchased it through. I really think there's something really wonderful about that story in that particular copy of the book already being read and loved. It's just absolutely wonderful. Look at this beautiful magnolia. I mean, oh my goodness, it is stunning beyond belief. I had a little bit of time today between some different appointments, so I wanted to come over here and just tour the grounds on a day that's not very busy so I could film for you. But, so those are really great avenues. You have thrift books. Thrift books is really, really good if you want to find a used copy or something that's out of print. Oftentimes you can go to thrift books and you can find it there. Oh, I do need to show you this. They just recently cleaned the entire duck pond, so it's beautiful now with the fountain. But thrift books is good. I have never really stumbled upon anything at a yard sale. And I am not the kind of person who's going to go out and spend. I'm a homeschool mom, single income home, other than the little things that I do come up with that I do on my own that I enjoy doing. I do teach classes at the library, things like that. So I do watch what I spend my money on, and books are a luxury to a lot of people, but they don't have to be. There's one of the workers here. They do not have to be something that you spend your entire budget on. So you can get books so many different places. There used to be a Friends at the Library near me where you literally would fill an entire bag for $5. And that really is how I amassed my collection of books. And I probably have, I don't know, 400 or 500 books easily, possibly more than that in my collection. So that's a really great idea and a place to go. Reach out to your local libraries and see if they have Friends at the Library. They often have a room or a place where you can go and look at the books that they have discarded. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with a book that has been discarded from a library. I will tell you, I had a friend, and she's no longer a friend, and it wasn't for that reason. But she came to my home one day, and she saw my bookcase, and I will tell you, it could almost make me cry because this is snobbery to the highest level. She saw some of my books had library stickers on them. And she literally turned her nose up and acted like the biggest book snob on planet Earth, which I found to be very, very disheartening, because the reason that we read is for the joy, for information we're gleaning, things that we might need for our life, some information that's pertinent to us. Like this garden here. We could get books on starting a garden. I mean, they learned this from something. And most of it comes from books and things like that, especially in the old days before we had YouTube and things like that. But, so I'm not a fan of book snobbery. I do understand that there are original books, first editions. Yes, if you want that in your life, then by all means, go right ahead and get that item. I just have a problem when people want to belittle somebody else who loves reading and who does find ways to fill their home with these beautiful books full of so many wonderful stories. These books are about stories. They're about taking us somewhere magical. I mean, look at this. Utter spring magic over here. And the size of this daffodil is out of this world. I am going to show you. Look at this. That is massive. So anyhow, that's where I'm going with this. I think we can have collections that are our own, that we have built via our own means, whatever means we have to acquire the books. We can build them while we are out thrifting. We can build them entirely through Barnes & Noble. And neither way should make anybody feel a lesser human being because of how they did come across the books that they have. Sometimes you do have to go to Barnes & Noble. But sometimes that wonderful little bookshop in some town you're traveling along. Look at that. Beautiful. They have libraries in here. I should take you in and see their libraries. I might do some shorts on their libraries in here at Kingwood. So there are 2 libraries in here, one for the missus and one for the mister. So anyhow, there are so many ways just to build and find that book that means a lot to you. And sometimes we do buy books because the cover is so fabulous. That a beautiful holly. Sometimes we do want that beautiful, beautiful cover gracing our bookshelves. We're all probably guilty of having several books that just look great. And there really is nothing wrong with any of this. I tell people this on my orchid channel. You know, there are the orchids that are really expensive and you want them. And you want that one specific orchid and you are willing to break the bank and spend all of your whatever little money you have saved. Look at that, just stunning over here. I like to sit up on those stairs with my thermos and my coffee, and I have coffee. It's just wonderful. But anyhow, where was I going with this? I just want everybody to understand, you know, like the orchids, that's where I was going before I was distracted. You can drop a lot of money on a beautiful plant. And I have spent, not massive amounts, but I have some nice orchids. But then you can also go to basically a wholesaler type out of Hawaii, and you can get just a huge amount of orchids delivered to your home, which I do periodically to build the collection. But yeah, as far as books go, just do what works for you, and do not worry about your snobby friends who come in and want to sneer at your bookcases because they might find a library tag. I just think that's beyond the pale, especially when somebody is trying to learn something and trying to have something that just brings them some joy in their life. So there can be beautiful, beautiful bookcases that are completely curated, and that's fabulous. It's absolutely fabulous. But you also have people who have just filled their bookcases with things that bring them absolute joy, and they may not be the most critically acclaimed book. They might not be your classics. You probably have that friend out there who only reads trashy romance novels. Come on, you know that person. They're out there. Maybe it's you. It might be you. And there's nothing wrong with a trashy romance novel now and then. There's nothing wrong with fluff. I don't have a problem with fluff reading. Sometimes you just want a quick book that's not going to make you have a lot of thought. You're really just there to enjoy it. Basically like going to the movies for the evening. You can just have your book and you can absolutely enjoy that time with it. So it's getting rather busy around here. I probably don't want to stay on here much longer. You don't want to hear all the commotion going on. They're doing lots and lots of landscaping work around here today. Spring is here. But yeah, I did want my channel to be more, you're not going to find, it's just stunning. This is what makes my heart happy. You're not going to find tons of book hauls of all the greatest, hottest new novels on my channel. We're going to read some obscure things. We're going to go over some things that have just been on my bookshelf for a long time when I gathered my hoard of books that I absolutely had to have for my collections. And you know what? Not only adults have their own favorite collection. You need to talk to your children and get them involved and invested in gathering a few books. And it might be manga. It might be something that you're like, oh my gosh, why would I spend my money on this? But it will breed a love of reading into them. You have to let them have some books that you might not find quite as worthy, just to get them to love reading. That is a very, very critical skill. When I was young, I am a bit of a loner. And I'm a total loner. I love to be nothing better than out with my dog in nature all alone. She can't be here with me today. But anyhow, get them involved in that. When I was young, I would sit up I had a beech tree I would love to climb up in. I was one of 7 children. Good Lord, I would get away from them. I would go and sit up in my beech tree and I would spend hours up there reading. So the love of reading is amazing if it starts in childhood. That way you have so much time to learn what you love and to grow and develop as a reader. We don't read what we read as children. Not so much. I mean, we do go back to the favorites. We do go back to Wind in the Willow and things like that. But we do grow. The collection that you have today might not be the collection that you want to have tomorrow, next year, 10 years from now. And there's nothing wrong with gifting those books to your friends. There's nothing wrong with sending them to a rummage sale. They all have their time in our life. Everything has its time. Everything has its season. Just like these daffodils here. These are absolutely stunning. But they're stunning now. They will not be stunning in a few weeks. A few weeks from now, we will move on to the next thing, and then the next, and the next. And I really think that tells the story of our reading as well. We change as people. We are constantly evolving. Our tastes are changing. We are just always looking for that next thing. So I hope this has been of some interest to you. I hope that you do have a few special books to you that you would never ever part with. And I hope you just have a bunch of books that are fluff that just bring you some absolute joy and a little bit of put some smiles on your faces. So there you go. That's about all I have to say today. Please take care. Please like, share, subscribe, and above all, enjoy those books.